one.
Yeah. Yeah, because if I stop it, then I have a hard time starting it again. It's like, it's weird. It acts really weird. So now that I've got it on, I'm leaving it on.
After the presentation, school's canceled for the rest of the day, right?
One, two.
I didn't make us leave. We could have just stayed in here.
Check one, two. Check 1 2 1 2.
You stay here with
Chick-fil-A in the cafeteria for lunch today.
You stay here and make sure nobody touches it. I'm going to go make sure this
And don't forget to sign up for the DC trip. Only a few spots remain.
1 2. Check 1 2 1 2. 1 2.
Oh, the iPad, yeah. Cool, yeah, bye. Well, right as you were calling me, Charles Daffin was getting back. I was able to fix it real quick. I'd already cleaned it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm like,
Check 1 2 Check 1 1 2. Check 1 2. Yeah. I just want to feedback. Thank you very much.
Hey,
But get the iPad off of me, bro.
I just tell him it's the most important thing.
Alright, we're about ready to go, so let me have your attention, please.
Tell him it's the most important thing. Tell him it's real.
Let me have your attention, please. Good morning, Mustangs. Thank you. Our speaker today has been working with students for nearly 2 decades. He's delivered hundreds of presentations to over 500,000 students in 48 different states. He's the author of the student book, Dude, Don't Be Rude, and is passionate about helping students prepare for life and life's challenges. As much as he loves speaking, his favorite roles are being a father and a husband. Today, he travels the country speaking to thousands of students in conferences, conventions, school assemblies, and other youth events. Rob has been a guest on Fox News, ABC, NBC, and many radio stations across the country. When he's not speaking on stage, he can be found chasing his second dream, becoming a sample guy at Costco. Please welcome Rob Holiday.
Listen, man, I'm sitting in class at school, minding my own business. I mean, I'm just sitting there in class, thinking to myself. And
There you
my
go.
teacher, she starts eyeballing me like she thinks I'm not paying attention. And dude, that day, she was right. I wasn't thinking about school. I wasn't thinking about class. I wasn't thinking about algebra. I was thinking about a girl named Lisa, man. She was hot, man.
My mom's name is Lisa.
I'm sitting there thinking about it all year in class. She's sitting in front. I'm thinking about her. And then for no reason, I started thinking about my G.I. Joe at home. Now listen, don't get it twisted, man. I had this G.I. Joe at home, right? He had a parachute. And every day I'd go home, wrap the parachute around him, and I would just throw him. He just kind of float down to the ground. It was awesome. And then I'd go get the parachute again, wrap it around the G.I. Joe, and I would throw him. He just kind of hang there for a second. It was cool. But I had this thought, you guys. If my G.I. Joe could do that, well then, I could do that. I mean, what better way to get a girl's attention than to jump off a building, I thought. So listen, okay, that's not too smart, but that's what I did. I lived in a 3-story apartment, and I went home that day, went to the 3rd floor where my bedroom was, took the sheets off my bed, walked to the window, opened the window, stepped out on the ledge, 2 in the sheet in one hand, 2 in the sheet in the other hand, and I'm waiting for Lisa, my baby love. Okay, well, she wasn't yet, but I wanted her to be, right? So I'm waiting for Lisa. She walks by my house every day, so I see her. She gets close. I said, "Hey, Lisa." Huh? And dude, I jumped. And man, when I started passing that 2nd floor, I realized I'm not slowing down, man. So stupid. I mean, what was I thinking? I was going to impress a girl by jumping off a building. That's dumb, okay? But what's bad is she and I really had never even talked, and the first time we do talk, she has to call 911 for me. And what's worse than that is, listen, I thought she was into me. I thought she liked me. Found out, cause she sat in the front, looked at the back, smile. She was smiling at some other dude. It hurts. It hurts. Yeah. Whoa. Well, listen, I determined that I would never let that happen again. I started practicing, and I found out that I had an ability to almost read people's minds. And I'll show you that in a moment. But first, I want to tell you that it's an honor to be at your school. And I want to thank you for coming. But listen, yes, as the principal read, I've been on TV and written a book, but who cares? This is not about me. This is about us. And we're going to have a good time today, I promise you. But we have to make an agreement. Here's the agreement. I promise that I will not embarrass you in front of your school or your friends in any way. That's respect. That's what's up, right? Your part of the deal is, if I point to you and ask you to come help me up here, you will come help me because you will know nothing embarrassing will happen to you today. Is that cool? Is that cool? All right, you come help me. Right here. You guys give her a hand, everybody. What's your name? Give Katie a big hand, everybody. Back up just a little bit and face me, and we're going to stay away from that speaker a little bit. I have a coin. Put both hands out like this, and the coin goes in your hand. I want you to put both hands behind your back. Now, Katie, on the count of 3, you're going to bring your hands out like this. Okay, not like this, but like this. And then I'm gonna ask you a question. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, hands out. Now, here's the question. Your answer will always be no. Okay, always say no. Okay, get closer to me so we're not by the speaker. Okay, is the coin in this hand? Is it in this hand? Is it in this hand? 100% the coin is not in this hand. Show them the coin. You guys give her a hand, everybody. Hold on, Dave. Because listen, we got some jokers up here. They're thinking, who is this dude that just rolled up in our hood? That's what you're thinking, okay? You thinking, I got lucky. Well, listen, it's not luck when you got skills to pay the bills. So one more time, Katie. Hand, coin, behind your back. 1, 2, 3, hands out. Whatever I ask you, say no. Is it in this hand? Is it in this hand? Is it in this hand? Usually the girls are pretty sneaky and they put it back in the same hand. Show. You guys give her a hand, everybody. Go on now. Now listen, everybody. Life is about choices. Life is like a journey. Or as I like to say, life is like a ladder. Okay? Yeah, life is like a ladder, and it has steps to it. And we're all going to start out in the same place. We're all going to start in. Man, I'm glad you 8th graders can read. That helps out. Okay, good. Very cool. All right, school. And then after you go to school, you're going to go to. Hopefully, all the teachers did. Never know, kind of sketchy. Okay, then after college, you're going to get a. Because listen, you can't sit in the basement playing Fortnite all your life, okay? You gotta get out and get a job. You eat too much. Alright? Then after you get a job, then you might want to get it. You might not want to get married. I tried. It didn't always work out so well. You can get married if you want to, okay? The guy back there said, oh, forget that. Okay, now. After you get married, then you're going to retire. And then after you retire, the last thing, you are... I was in Georgia long back. I held this sign up. All the kids go, yeah, he did! I look at this girl. I said, why are you clapping for Dad? She said, because I'm tired. Listen, man, you haven't seen tired till you get old like me, but here's what you don't know. I, your humble speaker, I was born at a very young age on my birthday. And I was. And we're all born and we're all going to die. But in between, we have a lot of living to do. And if you want to live a good life, you got to make good choices. And we need to play that PowerPoint. What happened to it? Okay. You can't get in, huh? You think it's not working? Give that guy an A. He's smart.
It's basic.
Intelligent kids. It's not working. Okay, so let's see if it worked now. Okay, so we gotta get knowledge, and the first one we all get knowledge is personal experience. How many of you, your mama told you don't touch it, it's hot? You did it anyway though, right? I did it twice. Okay, and then we learn stuff through formal education. We're in schools called formal education, and then you learn stuff through outside influences like Instagram, your mama, Justin Bieber, and okay, forget him. Listen, we're all governed by laws of nature, and laws of nature do influence us, and there are unavoidable things that can happen. We think everything is set in stone, but it's not. Gravity controls us, okay? When I went on MTV, they asked me to show a couple of things. We're going to get somebody to help me. You come here, and let's see. I want that dude. Come on here. Here, take one. One hand on top, one on bottom. Shake those cans. Shake them on, shake them on, shake them on. Okay, shake it, come on, girl. Okay, stop. Now, the law of nature tells us that if we shake up a can, what happens? Nothing. But if you open it, something happens, okay? And so, the thing is we think we know everything about nature, and we know a lot. But sometimes unavoidable things can happen. And we think that if we open this can up, we have shaken it up. If we open it up, we think for sure that it will explode, but things don't always happen as you expect. Here. Make sure that's real, brother. Is it real? Yeah, you have it. Hold on a second. Listen. Unavoidable things can happen. You never know if you try to go against nature, because things can happen. Give him a hand, everybody. Give him a hand. Good job. This is the cafeteria though, okay? So check this out. Things can happen that you don't expect. Okay? They're called unintended consequences, okay? You're doing something normal that you think there's no harm, you think there's no problem. Okay, but unintended consequences can happen. And my favorite unintended consequence is called the Cobra effect. And the Cobra effect is this, okay? Years ago, is when we're trying to do, the Cobra effect is when you're trying to do something good and something bad actually happens. All right? And so in India, years ago, the British controlled India, and they said, hey, we've got too many snakes in India. So what we're going to do is we're going to pay them to catch cobras, bring them to them, we'll get rid of the cobras, okay? But people got smart. Instead of catching the cobras, they started raising cobras and bringing them to them and making more money, okay? The government said, no, this is not working, because we're not catching the cobras and making less cobras, we're actually making more cobras and raising them, and for people trying to get money. So people let the cobras go. We got a problem now, okay? The problem is this. The action was, okay, to pay people to give them a cobra, to bring in cobras, to get rid of them. The intended outcome was to have less cobras, okay? But the unintended consequence was a whole lot more snakes. It didn't really work. So, do these kind of things actually happen in the real world? Yes, they do.
Healthy Texas teenager suddenly unable to breathe and hospitalized with lung failure. His doctors suspect vaping was the cause. I want to thank our affiliates at the FAA for their help. Important story, and Lucy Davis is here with that.
Good morning, Ron. A lot of parents certainly paying attention to this one. Teens are reportedly using vaping devices in record numbers. The U.S. in general has called e-cigarette use among youth an epidemic. And now Tristan is
I don't think we turned it up. Let me narrate. This guy's been vaping since he was in 8th grade. Now he winds up in ICU. Who's seen things like that happen on the news? Okay, we'll skip Trista. Today we're going to talk about vaping, Julie, and we're going to talk about money, because really that's what it's all about. It's all about money. These companies want us to think that they're trying to help us be healthy and safe, but it is not true at all. But your awesome school allowed me to come, and I don't believe for 1 second that just because I'm here, that no one here will ever think about vaping again. Okay? But I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to put you down. I'm not even here to tell you what you have to do, because you guys are going to high school soon. You're making a lot of choices on your own. So would it be okay if I gave you some information, and then when I'm gone, you make a good decision for your health? Would that be okay? All right. So if I do my job properly today, if you choose to vape or you choose to continue, if you already do, you'll go into your eyes wide open, you'll know what it does to your body, and you will absolutely know who it is in this world that wants you to be addicted. Do you know there are rich people in this world? It is their whole desire for you to be addicted, and we're going to show you who they are, because they don't care if you get addicted. They don't care if you get sick. The only thing they don't want is they don't want you to die, because if you die, you can't buy their stuff. That's all they care about is the money. And we have proof of that today. All right, so check this out. Come on, clicker. Who's ever been on an airplane? Okay, check this out. You go to the airport, you got your bags, you're checking in. And the lady behind the counter, she says, listen, man, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but the plane you're about to get on broke down yesterday. We don't have time to fix it, and we don't want you to be late, so we're going to let you fly. But she says, listen, if you do fly, you have a 60% chance of crashing and dying. Who's getting on the plane? And you live in. But you guys, you're in middle school, here's some real talk. If you're here today and you vape, smoke, Cigarettes do THC, marijuana. If you do any of those things, you have a 60% chance of dying at least 15 years early. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking 15 years? I can spare that. Who here is 15 years old? You got held back. So listen, God forbid if something happened to your parents 15 years ago, sickness or disease, and they passed away, most of all of you would not be here today. So 15 years is a long time. This is me. I'm a licensed x-ray tech in the state of Texas. I don't do x-rays anymore. I'm retired from that. I've been traveling for 20 years speaking to students, but I do have my license in the state of Texas. Also, this is my father-in-law, and he is my inspiration for being an x-ray tech because he was my best friend. And one day I went to Carol's house, and we're sitting there talking, laughing, telling jokes, and then he gets serious, and he says, Rob, I've got something to tell you. I said, okay, what's up? He said, well, you know I've been sick. I said, yeah, I know you've been sick, Pop. He said, well, you know I went to the doctor. Yeah, I know you went to the doctor. He said, well, Rob, when I went to the doctor, they ran some tests on me. And when they ran the test on me, they called me back in for the results. And he said, Rob, the doctor told me that I have advanced lung cancer from smoking since I was 14. And there's nothing they can do. The doctor said I have less than 6 months to live. I don't have to tell you how that shook me, you guys, how that grabbed me. Some of you maybe have lost someone that you love, and there's nothing funny about that at all. I said, Pop, all the money I have is yours. We'll pay for your treatment. I can't let you die. I love you, man. You're my best friend. He said, Rob, there's nothing they can do. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 month from that conversation, my father-in-law was in the hospital, hoses, wires, everything hooked up. He's laying in that bed, and I'm sitting in the chair with tears in my eyes, looking at my friend, and he asked me a question that I'll never forget. It rings in my ears. He said, Rob, why is it that we always feel like we can do something over, but we never feel like we can do it right the first time? And I didn't have an answer, but I've thought about it since then. How can I make sure that I do things right the first time? Well, maybe if I was young, and you guys are young, and maybe if I had some real information, not information that I saw on Instagram or YouTube or my friends or my family, but real information, maybe then I could make a better decision for my life. And I wouldn't wait until I was 16, 17, 80, until it was too late to change my health around. Who could tell me why electronic cigs were invented? Why were they invented? You. So people could stop smoking. Good answer. Give her a hand. Exactly right. Okay, but listen. Anytime you inhale smoke by burning something, it's bad. If you take a taco, light it up, inhale smoke, it's bad. All right? Okay. I know that's crazy, but if you inhale smoke, it's bad. Okay. So the thought was, when you take a cigarette and you make it in a factory, they dip it in all kinds of chemicals. Some chemicals make it burn slower, taste a certain way, more addictive. But regardless, when you light that thing up, it releases 4,000 chemicals into the smoke. But there's really only one drug we're trying to get out of the cigarette. What drug is that called? Nicotine. Okay, now nicotine is not only a drug, it is a drug. It's the most addictive one, or one of the most addictive in the world. It's very hard to kick, as hard to stop as heroin, but it's also a poison, okay? They used to use nicotine on crops to kill bugs. I have a video I don't show, but it shows a scientist. He gives a mouse 1 drop of pure nicotine. The mouse dies in 3 seconds. Okay, now why don't we die then? We're bigger than a mouse. We can handle more than a mouse can. Well, over a period of years, we are poisoning our body in a lot of different ways. And we're going to talk about more of those ways as we go along. All right, so this is the guy that invented the e-cig. His name was Han Li. Back in 2003 in China, he's a Chinese pharmacist. His father died from vaping, or excuse me, from smoking, from a lung cancer. So he thought, if I could create one of these, I wouldn't have smoke, I wouldn't have tar, it would be healthy. That was his idea, okay? He wanted this instead of this, okay? That's what he wanted. But just like with the cobras, an unattended thing happened, okay? He was trying to make something safe, and he told everybody it was safe, and they sell it all over the world, Juul and all the rest, but it really hasn't worked out that way. This is a vape device, okay? And it doesn't matter whether it looks like that or whether it looks like the Juul, okay? Like this. Okay? It doesn't matter what kind it is, they all work the same way. They all have a heating element, they all have a battery, and they all turn a liquid into a what? Not a vapor at all. It's actually an aerosol. It's not flavored water, as you told your mom, okay? It is an aerosol. When you think of aerosol, think of hairspray, bug spray, paint. It has particles in it, okay? And it goes in your body as an aerosol and leaves most of the bad stuff behind in your lungs. This is an aerosol under a microscope. It has particles in it, and later on I will tell you what those particles are. All right? Here is what is inside of a Juul pod. You have glycerol, propylene glycol, benzoic acid flavors, and you got nicotine. Now they took 100 teenagers that are in college and they all vape, and they drug tested them. They found these cancer-causing heavy metals in their bloodstream. See lead? We know what causes cancer. Where did those come from? It didn't come from this list right here. Where did the metals come from? They came from the coil. All devices have a coil. This is the Juul. It has a heating element. And when you heat that up, nanoparticles, very small microscopic particles, metals come off of those heating elements. Doesn't matter whether it's a Juul or any of them. They all have this heating element. It goes into the aerosol, goes into your lungs. Here's some real talk. If you're here today and you have ever vaped one time, it's likely you have some metal in your body now from that. Doesn't mean you're going to die tomorrow. Didn't say you're going to get cancer tomorrow. But if you continue a lifestyle of vaping, I was in Madison County yesterday. A high school girl came up to me. She said, Rob, I started vaping a year ago, and now I cough up blood every day. And the reason why I did, the reason why I started, Madison County, not too far from you. The reason why she started was because her friends pressured her into do it. It used to be the bathrooms were like this, and now we got smoke coming up from the stalls, okay? Not really smoke, but the vapor, all right? So we went from this, it took a long time for people to die from smoking, years, and now we're going to be seeing people dying every day from vaping. The last time I checked, 28 people have died in the last few months from vaping. And why is that? Because after the first person died from vaping, all the rest said, it won't happen to me. That's what they said. I was talking to a girl the other day. She was in high school. I said, aren't you afraid people have been dying and you're vaping? She said, well, it's not. Nobody has died at my school. But they're dying all over America. So we have to think, what kind of risk are we taking? It's called denial, okay? We're thinking that it won't happen to me. This is my high school back when I was in school, and we were sitting there in those bleachers, and this dude came to my high school talking about saying no to drugs. Man, I thought, come on, man, this is a rerun. I've heard all this say no to drugs before. They had that dog out there talking about saying no to drugs. I mean, I thought, come on, man, I want to hear something that I'm interested in. I'm smart, I'm young, it's not going to happen to me. And thank goodness it didn't happen to me. But it happened to my friend Richie that was sitting right beside me. We were both clowning during the assembly. We were clowning, making fun of the speaker. But Richie in high school started smoking marijuana, doing THC. He got high, got in the car, ran off the road, and died. So when we think that marijuana is safe, when we think THC is safe, we think all these things are safe. Not true for him. And I'll never see my friend again. One of the reasons why people are dying is because, who knows what THC is? All the hands, all right? THC is the oil for marijuana. We won't talk about marijuana very much, but I just want you to know one of the reasons why people are dying is because they're getting THC from unknown sources. And these unknown sources are, sometimes they're using pesticides. One pesticide they use is this, I can't even say it, but it's some bad stuff. When you heat it up, it turns into hydrogen cyanide. When you heat it up, you got to be careful. I know this high school kid, he went to the park. On the bench, he saw a Juul. He picked it up, didn't even ask where it came from, started hitting it. It was laced with fentanyl, and he died. So there is a risk when you're not thinking about your health. And I always think about the 4 T's, and that is always take time to think. THC, this is healthy brain, but on THC, it restricts your blood flow. Not safe. Rob, I thought that marijuana was a medicine. It hasn't been approved by the FDA. If you look on their website, they say we have not approved marijuana as a medicine. Just think about your future. Surgeon General says that most teens vape because of the smell and the taste. Now, you guys aren't kids anymore, but if, when you were kids, your mom would go to the store, right? And she'd buy your favorite snack. And she'd say, okay, now, honey, you can only have one. Where were the rest of them the next day? They were gone, and the box too, right? Because if it tastes good, we keep on eating it. So we know that if it didn't taste good, most teens wouldn't do it. Let's see, I'm going to get you to help me up here, young lady, and let's see, let's get, will you help me, sir? Yep, you guys give him a hand right here. You sit over here with me, and sir, you sit over here on the side, okay? Face her, don't step in the coke. I made a mess, sorry about that. Mr. Custodian, you can talk to me later. Okay, what's your name? And what's your name? Okay. Cameron's having a party at his house this weekend. Parents are going to be gone. He might be having a little bit to drink or whatever. But see, people think that you can't have fun if you're not stoned or drunk. Okay? And so she came to your party, and you're going to offer her a beer. You're going to reach out like this, and you're going to say, do you want a beer? Okay, on the count of 3. Get closer. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh, I missed you. I'm sorry, Cameron. Here we go. Okay, you're going to reach out like this. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's just like this. It takes a split second for her to make up her mind. Her friends are over there. Maybe they're drinking. Maybe they're vaping, whatever. She has a split second to make up her mind, and that's not the time to make up your mind. You got to make up your mind before you go to a place like that. Number 1, don't go to that place. But if you do go, you got to make up your mind, what kind of person am I going to be? What kind of future do I want to have? When I look in the mirror, that old person that I'm going to be is looking back at me, and what would the old person say? Is that person happy with my choices? Make a choice before you go. I will not do those things to harm my body. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. You guys give him a hand, everybody. Good job. So make a choice before you go. And it's called peer pressure. Now, listen, 6 million people die every year from smoking. Okay? What kills them first? Lung cancer or heart attack? It's a heart attack. The reason why that is when you put nicotine in your body, 7 seconds hits your brain. First thing it does, it raises your blood pressure. Second thing it does, increase your heart rate. Third thing it does is this. I'll narrate. He's putting nicotine, pure nicotine, into this rabbit's ear. Okay? You can watch what happens. There goes the nicotine. Oh, poor bunny. It's not Easter. Don't worry. Okay? All right? Watch at how the veins disappear, or they look like they're disappearing. They're not actually disappearing. Okay? But they look like they are. And the reason why it looks like that is because nicotine increases your blood pressure, increases your heart rate, and it causes your blood vessels and your arteries to constrict. So now you're trying to push more blood through a smaller tube. And nicotine keeps your heart rate up, your blood pressure up, and your vessels like that for 20 minutes at a time. Next thing nicotine does, it releases fats into your bloodstream. And the next thing nicotine does is it strips away the Teflon coating inside of your vessels and arteries. So now the blood and the fat and all that doesn't slip by like it should. It can get caught. We can have strokes. We can have clots. We can have all kinds of things. But when nicotine keeps your bloodstream up, or your heart rate up, and all that like that for 20 minutes, it starts to go back to normal. But a smoker or a vapor takes another hit of nicotine and it goes back up again. And that's how addiction happens, and that's how coronary heart disease happens. Most people die from a heart attack or a stroke before they ever die from cancer. Not always, but most people do. It's called coronary heart disease. This is what it should look like. This is what it looks like. Blood vessels get smaller when you put nicotine in your body. All right? Here is our lungs when we're developing inside of the mother. Who here has seen people coughing and hacking on the news from vaping? The reason why that is because your lungs are in a constant construction. Your lungs don't finish developing until you're between 21 and 25 years old. So here's some basic science. You take a liquid, you heat it up, it turns into a gas. When it cools back down, what happens? It turns back into the liquid, okay? So, not a solid, it never was a solid, okay, it was a liquid. So, Goes back into the same form it was. So now you have a vaping device. You have juice in here, vape juice. You heat it up. It goes into the aerosol or the gas. You inhale it. It cools back down in your lungs. And what happens? It goes back into the liquid form or the oil form. So now we are young. We have lungs that are not fully developed. We're either putting vape juice or THC in our lungs, and that's another reason why we're seeing people in ICU, because their lungs are not completely developed like they should be. Now here is a normal lung airway, how open it is. Here is an airway after you vape. It doesn't matter whether it has nicotine in it or not, even if it's nicotine free. When you vape an aerosol, it causes your lungs to inflame. Once they inflame, it causes mucus to form. Another reason why we're seeing people getting sick and worse in the hospital. This is a normal lung x-ray that I took when I worked at the hospital. This is one I got off the internet lately because it shows an acute lung injury. It shows how cloudy this is. This is the same kind of x-ray we're seeing from teenagers that are vaping. So when we think it's safe, it's alternative, not necessarily so. When we're sick, we go to a doctor. When we're sick, we go to a doctor and we ask for help. And we usually do what they say. But why is it for everything else we won't listen to a doctor? When it comes to alcohol or drugs or nicotine or anything, we won't listen. It's because we believe we know more than they do. It's called a perception. You guys look right in the middle. Don't blink. Stare. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, stare. Stare, stare, 2, 1, stare, stare, stare. Look at my head. Hey, my head. Okay, I know I got a big head. Okay, I got a big head. But listen, my head didn't really grow. It's a perception. If my head would really grow, then we got brain levels over lunch. That wouldn't be good. Okay, but listen. We all see the videos, people vaping, doing tricks. We see our friends vape, they didn't die. We see our mom and dad vape, they didn't die. So we start to perceive that it's not harmful. We start to get that feeling and those thoughts. And then it's even hard for somebody like me to convince you different because we've had a perception. But perceptions can be changed. All you got to do is get the right information. Nicotine hurts your brain as well. All right? Check this out. This is a PET scanner. It's not for your dog. It scans your brain. It sends for positron emissions. And when you use this, you can scan for brain activity. If you have a brain and you don't have no activity, you got issues, okay? You want some activity, all right? So check this out. Your brain is still developing until you're about 25 years old. Here's the deal. In the next 10 years, your brain will gain or lose 30,000 connections a second. That's good. Your brain's getting better. It's getting rid of pathways it doesn't need, gaining some it does need. Your brain is growing. But when you do any kind of substance, like alcohol, nicotine, marijuana, meth, anything like that, it can affect the way your brain develops. I know some teens that started vaping, and in 10 days they were already addicted and could not stop. Who has a friend that is addicted? I knew we'd have some hands raised. You know? Why is that? Because your brain is developing. So here's some good news though. If you guys wait until you're 21 or older before you try a substance, the odds are is you will not become addicted in your life. Let's prove this. Who has a mom or dad that smokes? Did they start smoking when they were young or when they were old? When they were young. Most people get addicted before they're 21. Most don't after 21. Some do, but most don't because your brain is very sensitive to these kind of substances. You can learn things fast when you're young. You can also learn bad things when you're young. Now, here is a brain scan before you had a hit of nicotine. A Juul user. See all the red? But after one hit, the nicotine goes down. I mean, the brain activity goes down, 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 down. So I go on Instagram. I see teenagers videoing themselves. They're hitting the Juul and doing homework. We're trying to learn. We're trying to study. But we're actually slowing the brain activity down. It's not developing like it should. Okay? Your brain is like a sponge. You can soak up stuff so fast. You can learn stuff so fast. But when you're young, When you're older, it's harder to learn things. When you're young, you can learn things so fast, but you can also learn bad things. And you know what? You can learn to be addicted. Your brain, you're teaching your brain that if you don't give it that drug, think about it. You have a mom and dad that smokes. When you go to the movies, you go to church, you go shopping, whatever. So they come out what they want. In the nighttime, they what they want. In the morning, what they want. See, I'm old, I can do what I want. That's what parents think. I can do what I want to. It's not freedom, though. It's an addiction. They're being controlled. If you're addicted to anything, you are a slave to that drug. You don't control it. It controls you. Okay? So, the part of the brain that controls judgment is the last thing that forms. And these companies, these big tobacco companies, they know that if they want to have you as a customer, they got to get you while you're young, before you're 21. If they can get you to use their products and get addicted before you're 21, they will have heavy users for life most of the time. All right, so here is an ad. If you don't think that these companies are after young people, I'm going to prove it to you. This is an ad way back when, but on the next slide, I got a picture of some candy. It is only one piece of candy. The rest of it is vape juice. I'm going to count to 3. I want you to find the candy. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Where's the candy? I know that. I know that. You never know where it is. This kid in the park picked it up. He thought it was something good, started vaping. Remember I told you? He died. We never know what's in. Now they have new kinds of advertisements. They have new people that are trying to get us involved in this stuff. This guy's called a paid influencer. His name is Donnie Smokes. We can't hear him. Okay, forget Donnie Smokes. We'll have more time for something else. Okay? He is a paid influencer. What he says is, I want you to be 18 or 21 before you listen to my video. What guy sitting in a car cares about whether you're 18 or 21? They don't, unless they're being paid. Donnie Smokes, if you look him up, he says he makes money influencing teenagers to use the products. We have Jewel right here. Jewel says, hi Dave, thanks for reaching out. Feel free to apply to be an influencer. So Jewel pays people too. Okay, now, who here has heard that Jewel does not want you as their customer? On the news, you've heard it. Do you believe them? Okay, let's prove this. Who here has a friend that never smoked cigarettes, but now they vape or they Jewel? Oh, so you mean they weren't trying to quit by using Jewel? They actually started on nicotine. Huh. I thought it would help us quit. I guess maybe. Who uses Jewel the most? Is it 15-year-olds? Is it elementary kids? Or is it your mama? Okay. It's teenagers, okay? 16 times more teens use Jewel than any other age. But why should we care about that? Well, let's go a bit further. That means that 95% of Jewel's money comes from teenagers. Jewel's now boss. They sell more than any other company. And 95% of the money comes from teenagers. But why should we care about that? Well, here's the deal. Who here believes that if your school, this school right here, lost 95% of the money, could they still run the school? No. What about your mom and dad? They lost that much. Could they run their house? No. And Jewel says, we don't want you as customers. But the FDA made a surprise visit to Jewel's offices. They confiscated their documents, and the documents prove that Jewel knows who is their biggest customer, teenagers. And even though they take things off the website, things out of the stores, they still know who you guys are. And if they lost you, Jewel would go out of business. So when they say they don't want you as their customer, it is not true at all. They try to act like they are, but guess who became the new CEO of Jewel? The CEO of the guy that was the CEO of the company that owns Marlboro. Almost all of these companies, the e-cig companies, are owned by Big Tobacco. Now, if they wanted you to quit, if they wanted you to stop nicotine, then why did they double the nicotine in a Jewel pod? Yeah, they doubled it. They don't want you to quit nicotine. They want you to start using their products. And each one of these pods for a Jewel is as much as the whole pack of cigarettes. Who has a friend that does 1 pod a day? What about 2 pods? What about 3 pods? The 3 pods, that's as much as 3 packs a day worth of cigarettes. And you know what? The nicotine that is in a Jewel pod is 3 times more powerful than what you find in a cigarette. It's more potent and it's worse for your body. Man, if it was me and I had this information and I knew that Juul had nicotine in it, I would make a better choice for my life. You do what you want to. I hope you make a better choice. And it also gets worse. These things blow up. The batteries blow up in these things, okay? And so he got a hole in his tongue, not cool, okay? He wound up in ICU, it blew up in his face. My son came to me a while back, and he said, hey, Dad, I want you to take me and my friend to the haunted house. Who's ever been to a haunted house? Okay, well, I said, what kind of haunted house is it? He said, Dad, it's the zombie apocalypse. I said, zombies? Aren't you afraid of zombies? He said, Dad, I'm in college. I'm not afraid of zombies. I said, well, you should be. He's kind of laughing, right? So we get there, hundreds of people out there in Dallas where I live, hundreds of people, and we start hearing these screams coming out of this haunted house. I said, boys, you hear those screams? People are dying in there. My son said, Dad, shut up, you're embarrassing me. I said, no, son, I love you, man. I don't want you to die. I'm getting louder, you know. He goes, Dad, my friend's coming. Shut your beard. I said, no, son, I don't want the zombies to eat your beard. So funny, man. We get inside this haunted house, tons of people, but we can't go in all the way yet. This 7-foot zombie comes out. He says, whatever you do not lose your head. What do you mean lose my head? Now I'm starting to get afraid now, but I can't get out. Too many people. They open the doors. We start rushing through there. I'm here. My son's ahead of me. His friend's ahead of him. And right behind me is this big, tall, large woman. She's like, I will break you. She was big, okay? She's big. And she's scared too, man. And so we start going. If you've ever been to a haunted house, you know they try to reach out and scare you and grab you. We go right through the darkness. They reach out and scare that lady. She freaks out. She grabbed me around my chest. She's shaking me. She says, oh, I'm scared. I said, lady, I'm scared of you. Man, they grab me. We keep going to this haunted house. They scare her again. I'm thinking, quit scaring that lady, man. She shakes me. I said, lady, I want my mommy. We get to the end of this haunted house, man, and that 7-foot zombie comes out again, man. He's working double time. This time, he got a chainsaw. I look at my son, I say, we get out of here, I'm going to get you, dude. That lady, she freaks out. She takes off running toward that way. I take off running toward the wall where the exit sign is. Bounce off the wall as a fake exit. Who does that, man? Make a fake exit. I'm laying on my back, and I'm looking at the sky, or the ceiling, and I'm thinking, this is what my life has become. Somebody trying to reach out and grab me, like Juul. And somebody trying to hide the exit with lies. Always trying to reach out and grab us. Who here? See, once you're addicted to nicotine, you crave more and more. Nicotine changes the way your brain works. 3 out of 4 people that think they will stop smoking, teens, they'll think they'll stop smoking in a few years. 3 out of 4 don't. Okay? You can have help if you want it. If you're addicted, you can have help. You can go to this website, okay? TobaccoFreeFlorida.com. You can dial this number 877 You Can Now, and they'll help you, walk you through on how to quit. We don't have volume, so we'll skip this video. Don't be a lab rat. Don't let them test on you. There's so many things we don't know about vaping. So many things we don't know how harmful it is, but we do know a lot. You know what? Don't let them test this stuff on you. It hasn't been tested by the FDA. It hasn't been approved by the FDA. It's regulated. Don't let them test on you. You know what? Come on, clicker. Does the risk outweigh the reward? Adults, this is the last thing, and then we're done. I need somebody to help me right now. I'm going to get somebody back here in the back where the cheap seats are. Let's see. Here. You guys give me a hand. Right here. All right, brother. Stay right here, man. Right here. Stay right here. Okay. What's your name? Brayden. Okay, Brayden. We're which video? We don't want you half dressed. We want you looking cool. Fly. Today. Take it all the way off. How about that? It's not cool. Okay. All right. Put that right there. Okay, we're going to play a little game. Okay? Stand right there for me. I have a die. You're going to choose a number. If 2 is what you want, it goes on top. If 6 is what you want, it goes on top. Whatever number you want, it goes on top. Okay? When I walk away, you choose a number. And then when you choose a number, you cover it up with your hand so I cannot see. You got it? And once you choose a number, do not change your mind. Here we go. I'm walking away. You choose a number. You got it, Brayden? Okay. Stay there. Keep it covered up. Braden, what number did you choose? What number did you choose? Give Braden a big hand, everybody. Let's celebrate him. Have a seat. Listen, when you play my game, I win. But when you play Juul's game, they win. Juul and all the other companies. Juul is now worth $18 billion with the B. They make the money, you get the addiction. They make the money, you get the sickness. They make the money, you lose your money. Don't play their game. How many of you girls would like to have a boyfriend or husband someday? He gets all the money, the house, the car, you raise your hand, but listen, he don't give you nothing. All hands going down, right? Listen, she didn't say we have a problem. When you're in a relationship with Juul, they get all the money, you get nothing. Don't play their game. Everybody say 4 T's. Everybody say 4 T's. Take time to think. Think about your future. Make the choice for you. Thank you guys. Have a good day, everybody.
All right, let's give it up one more time for Rob Holiday. All right, you're going to head back to class, and before you get up, look for your teacher to dismiss you. Do not leave until you hear from your teacher.